W- Welcome to Sip and Say with Stephanie. Good evening, YouTube listeners. Good evening, podcast listeners. My name is Stephanie Humphrey. I'm the host of the Stephanie Humphrey channel and the Stephanie Humphrey podcast. How are y'all doing this evening? What's up? How you doing? How is life treating you? What's going on? How are you doing? So yes, y'all. Hey, y'all know I'm feeling good today. I'm a little sleepy, but I'm feeling good. So I'm feeling good tonight. You all, how are you all doing? I'm feeling my hands. I'm going to put some lotion on. Okay. So anyway, how are y'all doing? How are y'all feeling emotionally? How are you feeling mentally? How are you feeling physically? How are you feeling socially? How are you feeling? How are you doing? You all know I want to know. Add it to the live chat, add it to the comment section later because I do check. I really am interested in how you're doing. You know, I know life is hard. Even before the pandemic, life was hard. Sorry about that, y'all. I thought it was on mute. Even before the pandemic, life was hard, difficult, struggles, and trying to make ends meet. And the pandemic kind of exacerbated some of our lack and some of our insecurities as far as like food insecurities, not necessarily your personal insecurities, but like food insecurities, affordable housing, like some insecurities in our housing where we're going to stay so that we won't be homeless. So even now, some families are still recovering, some families are still getting back on their feet. And so sometimes that takes a toll on your mental health, on your emotional health. It can take a toll on our work life, our relationship. So when I ask you how you're doing, like I'm serious about you sharing, like how are you doing? You know, life is hard, but life can be good. Life has funny moments, beautiful moments, memorable moments. I laugh to my belly ache. I'm crying, tears, moments. Um, and so, and then there's moments where we just have to steal away, take care of ourselves, quiet down, get rid of all the noise inside of our head and the other voices that have been speaking whatever to us, negativity or whatever to us. And we just have to steal away to Jesus. And if you don't steal away to Jesus, steal away somewhere to the mountains, to the lake, wherever, just steal away. So we have those moments as well. So how are you all doing? Like really, like that's the third time I've asked, right? Hey, Aunt Wanda, glad that you joined tonight. So I feel pretty good. I feel refreshed in some ways. I feel a little weary in other areas. I feel emotionally, I feel good. Spiritually, I'm feeling good. Mentally, I'm feeling good. So I am going to soon be making a decision about what church I will attend full time. And so I've been praying about that and making sure that I plant myself in the right church. Pre-pandemic, I was looking for a church once I made a location move. And so I was looking for, still going to my old church, but the travel was it was a lot. And so I was looking for a church home, visited several churches in my area and didn't find one at that time that really felt like home to me. And so, of course, the pandemic hit and I've been doing virtual church since for a long time. Of course, I did not start, churches started opening up probably maybe early last year or as some. I did not start back going to church until I went to church Mother's Day of last year. Wait a minute, let me get my years right. Yeah, I think churches may have started opening up maybe end of 2021, start of 2022. I can't really remember because I didn't track it. But I remember going to a Mother's Day service with a coworker because she spoke at the Mother's Day service. So I remember going there. I think that was May. I believe that was May 2021, actually, because we're still taking temperatures, still had on our masks. That may have been May 2021. Because yes, it was, because last year I was at my mom's church, 2022, I was at my mom's church for Mother's Day. So yeah, it was 2021. I had my mask on, I was buckled down. I think I might have had 2 masks on. I don't even know. But anyway, so I went there, visited. That was the first time I've been to an in-person church since the pandemic started. And then I went to a few, I don't think I went back until like later in the year. And then I've been going to different churches. Y'all, I'm still wearing my masks. Like, how y'all feeling about that? Like, I still wear my mask at work, when I'm at wherever I'm going. If it's in a public setting, my mask is on my face. I told I was like laughing and joking with my coworkers last week, and all three of us were talking. We all had on our masks, and I don't know how we got on the conversation of wearing masks or whatever, but I told them, I was like, I'm gonna wear my mask until Jesus comes, and they busted out laughing. It was like, I know that's right. I'm gonna wear my mask until I feel comfortable to take it off. So I'm still there. A few of the churches one church in particular that I've been visiting, they wear masks at this particular church. It's a larger church, they wear masks. Some of the other churches, y'all, that I've been visiting, ain't nobody got no masks nowhere. Large congregations, ain't nobody got no mask nowhere. And you know what? Except for Stephanie got a mask. And I don't feel no kind of way. I don't feel embarrassed. I don't feel insecure. I feel very confident in wearing my mask in public arenas, whether others are doing it or not. Because I got to do what's best for Stephanie. Yeah. Cause there's only one me, and I gotta live free and do what I think is best for me. Yeah. Told y'all I'll make up a song in a minute. Y'all thought I was loud when I said I'll make up a song. I would make up a song about anything. I'm telling you, I sure will. So anyway, yes, I'm still wearing my mask. So anyway, getting back to the church. So this particular church, and I've been visiting a few different churches more regularly, a few that I found that I really like, that I had never visited before. And so one, I think I'm settled on, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna still continue to visit in April and see how. I love this particular church. It's a smaller church, and I like their atmosphere of love. I feel very welcome there. I feel warm there. I don't feel any dissension or any strife or disunity in the atmosphere. Because sometimes when you walk into a church, you can feel the Holy Ghost, but you can still feel there's some other things going on. At least I know I can. I can still feel that there's other things going on. In this particular church, I don't feel that. And so they're having an interest meeting coming up soon. So I'm going to attend and hear some of the history of the church. Things, of course, you can't talk about on a Sunday morning. So the history of the church, I actually did research about it, so I know a little bit about their history, but they'll be able to give me some more information about the history of the church, their, operations, whatever they choose to share at this interest meeting. And I do have a few questions. I don't know that I'll ask them. I'll see, what information they share, and see if my questions get answered, or if I even need to ask them, if they're not answered in the information session, if I need to ask them. So I'm really excited because I'm ready to get planted somewhere. Like, I'm ready to get my feet firmly rooted in a home church again. And so I think this is going to be it. The hesitation, you all, that I have, and y'all pray for me about this. This is Sip and Say with Stephanie. It is. Watch y'all. I'm gonna take a pause. Watch y'all sipping on tonight. So I got y'all know I got my Stephanie Humphrey blood. So I'm actually sipping on water, right? Some straight H2O tonight, because that's what I need. So I'm gonna take a sip, then I'm gonna finish talking about the church. That's good. Got me some H2O. So the one thing, every time I pray and I'm talking to the Lord about this church and about what I can contribute to the church while I'm there, and what the church can, contribute to me or bless me way, that reciprocal exchange. I feel like I won't be there long. Like, I really, every time I'm looking over at my kitchen, because I remember washing dishes earlier this week, or the weekend, I think, praying about the church and just different things. And I still got that feeling I won't be there long. I don't think the Lord is about to take me home. Like, it's not that. I don't think I won't be there long because God has called me home. I don't think that's it. For some reason, I just feel like I won't be there long. I don't know if I'm in a transition period where I need to be planted there for this season to pour into them, for them to pour into me, and then God is going to transition me, to somewhere else. But I just feel like I won't be there long. And so, because I feel that in my spirit, because I've discerned that, I'm hesitant to join, because I don't want, it's just like, I don't know. I don't know what God is doing. Like, I really don't. I'm having thoughts of a move. I really am. But I don't, I'm gonna say it like I feel. I really don't. I'm just gonna say I don't. And I'm gonna leave that right there. Because me and the Lord already had this conversation. So I'm gonna leave that there between he and I. But I hesitate to join the church because I feel like I won't be there long. And so I don't know what the Lord is doing. All I can say in this moment is I walk by faith and not by sight, and that I will trust in the Lord with all my heart and lean not to my own understanding, in all my ways acknowledge him, so that he will direct my path. And we know that God's ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. His thoughts are so much higher than ours are. And we also know the Bible says to God, a day is like 1,000, 1,000 are like one day. And so my not long might be, I'm thinking not long, meaning a year. Maybe I'll be there for about a year or a little less than a year, maybe 8 to 12 months. Whereas God's not long might be 2 years or 3 years, because he don't operate in my time frame. He doesn't operate in seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years, decades, centuries. He don't operate like that. And so, yeah, so that's my hesitation. But on the flip side, I'm excited. I'm excited about the potential that's there. So anyway, I didn't mean that to share. I didn't mean to share that with you all. Not that I'm trying to, hide it or anything, but I'm in decision-making time. And so, I'm talking about how I'm feeling. That's how that came up. So I'm feeling good about it. I just, like I said, just that hesitation that I may not be there long. So y'all pray for me. Pray that the Lord will continue to lead and guide. Pray, the Lord is going to continue to lead and guide me. So you don't have to pray about that. The Lord he always talking, he's always leading, he's always guiding, he's a talking God. If you open up your ears to hear what the Spirit of the Lord had to say to the church, if you open up your ears to hear, God is a talking God. He talks all the time. Prophetess Juliet used to say that God is a talking God. He's a talking God. So you don't have to pray that God talks to me, because he's gonna talk. Pray that I have ears to hear and a heart to receive and a mindset to do. Y'all get that? Pray that I have ears open to hear, a heart to receive, and a mindset to do. Because y'all know how it is. Sometimes when God speaks, yes, this is Sip and Say with Stephanie. It's not Bible study. Y'all on the right channel. It's Sip and Say with Stephanie. We're going to get to some news. But y'all know sometimes when God speaks, and sometimes God speaks radically and largely and uniquely, and you're like, God, are you sure that this word is for me? Are you sure you got the right one? Did you mean another Stephanie or another S? So sometimes God speaks words to us that seem beyond our realm of doing. Oh Lord, y'all pray for me. So God is talking all the time. He's speaking. And sometimes it's not difficult to hear God. I'm just talking about myself. It's not difficult to hear God, but sometimes it's difficult to swallow the greatness that God is speaking. Sometimes it's hard because for me, let me talk about it. For me, sometimes I think, like, am I equipped to do what God is saying that I can do? Am I equipped? Am I educated enough spiritually, like educated enough in the word and I'm gonna say Bible pedagogy. Pedagogy, that's the educational word, but am I educated enough in Bible history and Bible knowledge? Like, sometimes I have moments, I ain't talking about y'all because I don't know y'all. I have moments where God is speaking something greater than me, something bigger than me. And sometimes it can be scary. Other times I run with it. Like when God spoke the Tillman Publishing Company into existence in 2008, I was ready to go. I want no hesitation. I'm going down to the city, to the city clerk, to the it's been 2008. It's been a long time. Then the other one's in 2010, so that's been a long time. At the city clerk's office of the city clerk's office. I went in. I did my DBA, which is my DBA. What does DBA stand for? Doing business as. Well, thank you, Lord, because it's been a while. I did my business in 2008. I did my ministry in 2010, so it's been a while, y'all. So DBA, doing business as. I did my form to say I'm doing business as the Tillman Publishing Company. Signed the paperwork, paid my little $26 fee that I had to pay to get the paperwork done for them to record it on the books. That was the summer of 2008. It was I think it was in June, maybe June 14th. It was somewhere in June. I remember exactly where I was. I was working. And when I took my lunch break, I went straight down to the courthouse, to the city of Clark, signed my paperwork. That was 2008. So when God spoke that, I was ready to go and give my little $26. I'm going on in. When God spoke Be Free Ministries to me in 2000 I don't know when the ministry released in 2010, but I can't remember what year God actually spoke the word, because he spoke the word before I was released in it. But we started in 2010 with Be Free Ministries. And when God spoke Be Free Ministries, there was a slight hesitation. I ain't gonna lie, slight hesitation. But after I got over that initial shock that I'm gonna start a ministry, I ran with it. Let's do this. When God spoke Aunties Against Abuse, that's my 501c3 nonprofit that the Lord has blessed me with, to God be the glory for the things that he has done. When God spoke that in 2020, I got the dream in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. No, it wasn't 2017. I can't remember when the dream came, y'all. Y'all know I can't rely on my memory. I can't remember when the dream came. It wasn't 2020, wasn't 2017. Because I remember where I was and I wasn't living where I was. So it was either 2018 or 2019. It could have been 2019. I feel like it was an odd year. Anyway, the dream is on the website. I'm gonna have to look it up now. Not right now, but later. But the manifestation of the nonprofit didn't release until 2021, April 14th, 2021. And so was it April 14th or April 9th? I think it may have been April 9th. Either way, it was in April of 2021. When God spoke that, I was ready. Let's do this, God. And it was a little scary to do the paperwork because I never completed 501c3 paperwork for the federal government. That was a little scary. So I, printed off the instruction sheet, read over it. It's like, God, please be with me. Let me make sure I fill this out right. I filled it out right. A couple months later, I got the determination letter. We were approved for a 501c3 nonprofit for Aunties Against Abuse. God is good. I was ready. But sometimes when have y'all ever had a time where God spoke to you? This is Sip and Stay with Stephanie, praise God. Was there ever a time that God spoke to you something bigger than you felt like you could do? Like you felt like inadequate, or you felt like you weren't smart enough or educated enough, or maybe you felt like your gender would be a hindrance, but some people still in certain circles don't want to fully accept women to be the powerful, unique individuals that they are. So if there was a moment where you felt like God was speaking something greater than you, put it in the chat, put it in the comment section later. And let me just go ahead and say this. Oftentimes when God speaks vision to us, when God speaks destiny to us, oftentimes it is bigger than what we can accomplish on our own or what we can accomplish in our realm, because God wants to make sure that who gets the glory? That he gets all the glory, all the honor and praise for the things, hallelujah, that he has done. Y'all, that's good. So God is speaking. Y'all, I ask y'all to pray for me that my ears be open and my heart be, receptive, and my mind be on the do right path. Y'all pray that for yourselves too, because as long as you are alive, you can fulfill the vision and the destiny and the dreams that God has placed within you to do. Yeah, I was talking to an individual, because I did not get permission to share this. So I'm going to say I was talking to an individual this week, and they shared taking class, and they got their certificate in this particular class, and it prompted a desire in them to learn more about this particular topic. And that individual's excitement stirred up an excitement within me, to be like, man, that is so good. When people get a new passion or get ignited to do, whatever God has called them to do, or whatever dream they're starting to feel, that excites me. That just brings me so much joy, because I love people being fully who they are and tapping in to the blessings and the strength and the gifts and the whatever is in them to tap into, and so it really excited me to hear this individual talk about this and, pursuing further, education in this area. And man, y'all, that's good. That is so good. And it doesn't matter how old you are. You can be not. There was a lady, you all, I don't have her name, but she is 100 years old. She ran, y'all, a doggone marathon. I was watching her video. on Instagram, and they showed her. I didn't watch they didn't have the full clip of her running the entire marathon. I don't know what mileage it was, like what the marathon was, but it just showed her getting close to the finish line and her crossing the finish line. And I don't know if it was her daughter or her granddaughter, but they were waiting for her at the finish line, just to kind of support her, because she just ran this marathon. Y'all, I don't care if it was a half a mile marathon. I don't know if it was a mile, half a mile. I don't know what the mileage was, but the fact that a 100-year-old Black woman, 100-year-old anybody, but in this case, it was a 100-year-old Black woman. Child, she had her jogging suit on. She had her visor on. Boy, she was getting it. I don't care if she was slow getting it or fast. She was getting it. I have never ran a marathon in my life. Never, ever, never, ever. I don't think I ever plan to. That's not a dream of mine. That's not a goal. That's not on my bucket list to do. Like, y'all can have that all day, every day. But the fact that you are never too old to do what you want to do. You're never too old to fulfill your dreams. You're never too old to walk forth in your destiny. Y'all, she looked good. 100. Yeah, she looked good too. I was like, yes, mom, yes. Woo. So yes, y'all. So keep pushing, keep striving, fulfill your dreams. Y'all have heard me say this before. This is nothing new. So it's just some encouragement for us. Pursue your dreams, pursue your goals. Dust off those dreams that you wrote in your journal 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 25 years ago, 50 years ago, 75 years ago. Dust them off, pull them out. And if you have breath in your body, you have the ability to do what it is you want to do in this life that the Lord has blessed us to live. Okay, y'all, I'm done with that, y'all. Sometimes I hadn't planned to say all that. Y'all gonna hear me keep saying that. I hadn't planned to say all that. Y'all know I forgot to bring my glasses over. I'm gonna get my glasses, y'all. I'm gonna get my glasses, y'all. Y'all probably like, Stephanie, we gonna get enough. You gonna get enough of stepping away from this camera when you're supposed to be doing your broadcast. You're supposed to be. The Bible say, "Be ye also ready." Stephanie, you're supposed to be ready. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm ready. I had my glasses out yesterday because I was doing some work, and then I had to remember to take them to work with me. And then I forgot to pull them out. But yeah, y'all, I'm feeling good. I feel good. Like I'm ready to go to bed. It's Thursday, so y'all know how I'm feeling. But in my spirit and in my heart and in my soul, I feel good. I just have a little bit of news for us tonight, y'all. And I actually have a poem for women that I'm gonna share with y'all. I feel so bad. I had it ready for last Thursday, so I practiced it and went over it for last Thursday so that I could have my cadence right. I didn't do that for this Thursday, y'all. So I hope I get my cadence right so that the poem, so I say it smoothly. It's really a spoken word poem. I would probably say it like a spoken word, but I wrote it in February. Did I write it in February? Let me see if I put a date on it. Yep, March. Sorry about that. Y'all wrote it March 1st of this year. And I actually put it in my newsletter, my wellness newsletter. It's there. And so I may put the link to the newsletter, because I actually did put it in the newsletter so you can see it. Y'all don't be copyrighting my stuff though. I'm just saying. It's already copyrighted because I got it. Don't y'all be stealing my stuff is what I meant to say. Praise God from whom my blessings flow. So hey mom, my aunt Wanda, she's sipping on some sweet tea. We were talking about some sweet tea. And my mom is sipping on what I'm sipping on water. So I'm gonna take a sip before I get into this. Praise the Lord, Lord, Lord. So y'all, I'm gonna start off with a bit of bad news, and I'm so sorry to start off this way. I didn't mean to do it, but I want you all to know this. If you have not heard any reports about Irvo Otieno, he is originally from Kenya, was born in Kenya. His family immigrated here when Mr. Otieno, I love that name, Otieno, when he was 4, and he was 28 years old. He did pass away. He was 28 when he passed away. But you all, y'all know I watch Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. I hope he doesn't mind that I talk about his show, but I do watch Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network because Roland Martin gives news he gives us world news, international news, but he gives us news about the Black community. He highlights Black and missing individuals. He highlights Black businesses, y'all. If y'all haven't checked Roland Martin Unfiltered out on the Black Star Network, like really check him out. You can also stream, look for the Black Star Network on your streaming devices, on a fire stick. On your fire stick, look for the Black Star Network. Download it so you can listen to news 24/7. But he has his show on every weekday starts at 6 o'clock. Um, Roland Martin normally ends around 8, somewhere around 8 o'clock. He usually ends. He also highlights like when Greenwood not celebrating, but acknowledging 100 years since Black Wall Street was destroyed in Greenwood. I said Greenwich, but Greenwood. Um, uh, mm, Now I got to look up where Greenwood. I want to say it was Mississippi, but it's not Mississippi. But anyway, he broadcast, the celebration. Roland Martin broadcast different celebrations as it relates to Black people and Black history and Black events and Black culture. And I just really respect him and the work that he's doing and him giving the news that you're not going to find on mainstream media. Roland Martin is showcasing it. And so I really appreciate, I'm sorry, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Greenwood and Tulsa, Oklahoma. I have my state wrong. Sorry about that, y'all. But anyway, so last night when I was watching, not last night, Tuesday night. Was it Tuesday or was it last? I think it was Tuesday night, if I'm not mistaken. He showed a video of what appeared to be the murder of Mr. Irvo Otieno. I did watch the video. I wasn't going to watch it because he did warn us, like he warned us this might be graphic, and but I watched it. At first I did, and I kind of turned put my phone over here, and I was working on my computer, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to see what's going on. And so I wrote down notes about what happened. So I'm going to give you my eyewitness account and watching the video and what happened, and just give you a little bit about him. So he was arrested March 2nd. I'll give you some more information about that. He passed away on March 6th from let me make sure I got it right. From asphyxiation. There have been 10 people that have been charged in his murder. But let me give you a little bit about, if you haven't seen the video, it's bad, but you don't see Mr. Otieno as much as you see all the people that are around him. Because the video went on several minutes before I could actually see him. And it's really just like his face, and then I'll just share it with you. And you know what? I'm not a parent. You all have heard me say this, but I just when our Black boys and girls pass away at the hands of police officers or at the hands of everyday citizens, like in the case of Trayvon Martin and Ahmaud Arbery, just citizens just taken along into their own hands. I know it's got to be devastating. So anyway, the video was released. I'm glad that they released it so quickly, but the video was released. So this is what I saw. When I finally looked at the video, it was a few minutes after Roland Martin started showing it, but there were 6 officers that escorted Mr. Otieno into the room. It appeared that he may have been having a mental health crisis. He was in a mental, let me see if I get the name of the mental institute, let me find it. Because sometimes I don't follow my notes exactly. So let me find out exactly. Oh, those are in my other notes, okay. So I'm gonna pull up those other notes. He was in a mental state facility at the time that this was happening. So just let you know that I'm gonna get those notes out. I had to actually shut down my computer because it just wasn't working right. So let me open up my notes so I'll have that. Yeah, I'm sorry, give me just a second. I forgot I had to shut down my computer to get it restarted so that I could be ready for the show. So let me open up those documents. So I'm gonna have to multitask here. I hope my documents save. If they didn't save, I don't know what I'm about to do, but I'm gonna just go with what I know. Oh, I got it. So when they were escorting Mr. Otieno in, there were 6 officers that escorted him in. He was actually bent over as they were escorting him in. Shortly thereafter, there were 4 officers that got him on the ground. And then there were 6 additional people that actually entered the room while these officers were getting Mr. Otieno on the ground. I'm just taking a pause, you all, to get my notes so I can have it ready. I didn't get an opportunity to print these out. All right. All right, I'm still here, you all. All right, that's not what I want. Okay, this is the one I want. All right, and so I actually wanted to get the hospital. He was in Central State Hospital. It is a state mental health facility in Dinwiddie County. This is in Virginia, okay? And it does note that he did die during the intake process, according to the Commonwealth's attorney, okay, and Cable Baskerville, according to her. But anyway, let me continue to share with you what I actually saw with my own eyes. So they got him on the ground. A short time later, there were actually 16 people in the room that they had taken Mr. Otieno in. There were 3 officers that were with Mr. Otieno doing whatever they were doing, and everybody else was just standing around watching. I want it noted that there was no audio attached to the video, so we couldn't hear anything that was being said, if anything was said. As they had Mr. Otieno on the floor, at the angle that I could see it at, I could just see his foot, like one of his feet sticking out. I couldn't see the rest of his body because the officers, like most of their bodies were like right in front of the camera, and his foot was bare. It was just the one foot that I saw was bare. All right. I could not see exactly what the officers were doing because again, their bodies were blocking the camera as far as the vantage point we had. All we could see, all I could see, I'm gonna say I could see, was the people standing around, and then whatever the officers who were over his body, couldn't see exactly what they were doing, but just them over his body. A short time later, 3 officers put their body weight on Mr. Otieno. He was actually on the floor. They put their body weight on him. Then an additional 5 people came over, and it appeared from watching the video, it appeared that there were 7 individuals that were restraining Mr. Otieno on the floor. At this point, additional people entered the room. And at this time, I could visibly see and counted 18 individuals in the room, including the officers and medical staff. And I'm saying officers because they were dressed in brown. They look like, how sheriff's deputies dressed they have the brown uniforms. That's what it looked like from what I can see from the camera. So I'll just say individuals. They came in. There were, like I said, visibly 18 people I counted. It was clear that there was some conversations happening in the room with the people that were standing closer to the door. This was like a door that was here, and then this was the rest of the room. There was a table in there, and they had Mr. Otieno, on the floor, like in front of this table. And so it was clear that there were some conversations happening with the people that were standing close to the door where people were entering and exiting. But again, no audio. So at this point, they adjusted Mr. Otieno on the floor. It looked like they turned him over. At this point, it was 8 people that were handling him some kind of way, that was moving his body some kind of way. Some of the individuals at this point left the room. Some of those 18 left the room. A little bit later, there were 9 individuals that appeared to be holding Mr. Otieno down on the floor. There were 8 additional individuals that were just standing around watching. Another individual joined. So there were another individual joins the actual, what it looked like, the restraining of Mr. Otieno. So there were 9 individuals, and y'all, some of those individuals that were helping restrain him, that it appeared to me like they were restraining him on the floor. Some of them were some pretty hefty people, like, they had some weight. They had some weight to them, while they were restraining. Like, this is 9 individuals at this point in the video that are somehow restraining Mr. Otieno on the floor. A little bit later, I did see a glimpse of Mr. Otieno lying on the floor. He did not have a shirt on. He did have pants on. He was flipped over, and there were 2 individuals. Wait on. I see him laying on the floor. Okay, so he's flipped over because first he was laying, and so his face was actually turned towards the camera. And so you know how you kind of lay like this? It wasn't his hand up, but he was kind of laying there. His arms were actually restrained, is what I was told. I could not see that in the video, but the reports came that they did have a restraint on his hands. Again, I didn't see that in the video. But you could see his face, and so they had him kind of on his side, and then they eventually turned him on his back. And it was then that I could see his, the side of his face, of course, because the side of his face was facing the camera. Like I said, he didn't have a shirt on, he had pants on, he didn't have any shoes on. It was at that point, y'all, that I could see his feet were shackled. His feet were shackled. And so I saw there were two in there, like some of the individuals that, of course, had come off of him at this time. And I saw there were two individuals in particular checking him. There was one person with blue gloves on. I think they were a healthcare professional, possibly, and they were kind of checking around his neck and checking his chest. And one of the officers, I'm gonna say he was an officer because he had what appeared to be a brown sheriff's uniform, but a brown uniform. He was actually checking Mr. Otieno's pulse. Like you could see him like holding, feeling for his pulse. And so let me make sure because I wrote my notes. I want to make sure I got it right. So again, he's Mr. Otieno's lying on the floor, no shirt, no shoes. At this point, there are 18 individuals that are standing around watching. There's the two individuals that were checking him out. Then the other 16, they just standing around watching. 18, y'all. Anyway, so there were 3 more people that came in. I think I don't know if when they were checking Mr. Otieno, if they discovered he had a no pulse or a slower pulse. I don't know what happened, but in the next few seconds to minutes, because I don't have the full frame, they actually brought in a cart that had several shelves. I don't know what was on it, but then they rolled in. Somebody brought the cart and somebody else rolled in. You know how in the doctor's office, they roll in where they put your IV and they check your blood pressure, like that little roller thing. I don't know what it's called. So one lady rolled it in and she rolled it on the side where the camera was, and it looked like the blue cuffs. I've seen blue, I've seen burgundy, I've seen black, but in the video, it looked like there were blue cuffs. You know how your doctor checks your blood pressure. That's what it looked like. Like maybe they were trying to check his blood pressure. I did not see them try to check the blood pressure, so I don't know if I may have turned away. If they did check it, I may have turned away. I don't know. But anyway, it looked like they started CPR on him. Apparently he had, lost consciousness. So they started CPR on him. And then a little bit later, somebody, relieved the other person. Because I have been taught for CPR, you do as much the chest compressions as much as you can. And then if there's somebody that can help you to take over, you switch just to give yourself a break. So someone did switch with the individual that was doing the CPR on the other side, and then they came on the camera side. So anyway, I'm looking at his face, y'all, and you know what it put me in the mind of? It put me in the mind of George Floyd. It really did. I did not watch the full video of George Floyd's murder. I did not. I watched a little bit of it, enough to hear him calling for his mom, and enough to see his face and to know that he was dead, to know that the life was gone out of him. And seeing Mr. Otieno on the floor, and I couldn't see his, I'm just, seeing the side of his face that was, the side of his face that was the camera, and just barely, I ran in the front, but he looked so dark, and it just looked like the life had already gone out of him. But they did again perform CPR on him. He was pronounced dead on March 6th. The report said that whoever was in charge of reporting this incident, I don't know who that individual was. I don't know if it was a manager of the facility or if it was one of the law enforcement officers of the facility. Whoever was responsible for reporting it. The report said they waited about 3 hours before the report was made. So currently, there have been 10 people that have been charged with second-degree murder in connection with Mr. Irvo Otieno's death, including 7 Virginia sheriff's deputies and 3 hospital workers. And from watching the video, most of the individuals that were standing around were in blue. I just assumed that they were the like the hospital employees, and then of course the individuals in the brown, I assume that they were officers, but it was just a lot of people flowing in and out of there. And I believe everybody that came in and out of that room should be charged. That's how I feel about it. I feel like all 18 and whoever else coming in and out that came in and spent any time in that room, I believe they should get everybody. That's just what I believe. I don't know what the charges should be, but yeah, I mean, y'all, if you do watch the video, I could not believe how folks just standing around watching. I mean, literally standing around watching the life getting just sucked out of this human being, this man. So yeah, y'all, and so yeah, I want to give you a little bit information. That's what I wanted to pull up because I did a little bit of research about Mr. Otieno. I did report he is from Kenya. His family not integrated, but immigrated here when he was around 4. He passed away at 28. He was not inspiring. Let me get my enunciation correctly. He was an aspiring rapper. He I wrote down his song. So he was an aspiring rapper. He went by the name of Young Bo. He wanted to have his own. Let me make sure I got it right. Yes, he was a singer, rapper, songwriter, and he wanted to establish his own record label. And so 2 of his songs I wrote down, one is Man in the Middle and the other is Can't Wait. And there's some other of his music that you can stream. I did not look for his music yet. I am going to look for it. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure you can find it on multiple streaming, like music streaming channels. So yeah, just look for his name. I don't know how long he had been, how long you've been a rapper, just started, or if he's been a rapper for a couple of years. I'm not sure about that, but you can, do the research for yourself because I'm really, I want to just honor him in a way. So I'm gonna, look up his music and listen to it. It was noted. Let me look at my notes here. So let me give you a little bit of information. I actually read the report. It wasn't a report, but the Henrico police had a news release. So the incident. So they. On the morning of February, March, I'm gonna read what the release says because for immediate release, they released this on March 10th, 2023. Mr. Otieno passed away on March 6th, 2023. So it was noted in this immediate news release by the Henrico Police Department that on the morning of March 3rd, Henrico police responded to a report of possible burglary in the 3 Chopped magisterial district. Get my enunciation correct. And so the officers actually identified and approached what they thought was the suspect of this particular burglary, and it was Mr. Otieno. It is noted that based on their interaction with him, and by observing him, they placed him under emergency custody order. So they took custody over him, which is legal in Virginia. So they took custody over him. They, members of the Henrico County's crisis intervention team, they were on the scene to assist the officers, which to me, check plus. So there were officers that were there, and there was a crisis intervention team. I love that. I like, because to me, you need a mental health or a healthcare response team to couple with police officers, because there are situations where the police are called on an individual or individuals, and they are truly experiencing a mental health crisis. And in this case, he was experiencing a mental health crisis, or they feel like he was, and his mom does give some reports on that, so I'm gonna share that in a minute. So there wasn't a crisis intervention team. They were there to assist the officer. Check plus on that. So the officers, they took Mr. Otieno to an area hospital for further evaluation. They did note that while Mr. Otieno was at the facility, that he became physically assaulted they use the word assaultive toward the officers. They actually did arrest Mr. Otieno. They transported him to the warrant services unit at Henrico County Jail West, where he was served with the following charges: vandalism. Now, whether he vandalized, whether he was the one that did the burglary, I don't know, y'all. This is the report they said. They charged him with vandalism. They charged him with disorderly conduct in a hospital, and they charged him with assault on a law enforcement officer. So that was released on March 10th, which was 4 days after Mr. Otieno passed away. So y'all, for my podcast listeners, I just put my glasses down and I'm looking over the rim of my glasses like the teacher look at you when you cutting up and when he gets you. That's what I just did. All right, so let me share a little bit of information about what his mom said about him. Oh, how do we spell his name? Yes, because actually his name is pronounced differently. So I'm gonna actually add his name. It's spelled Irvo Otieno. But when I looked it up, because I do like to pronounce people's names right, I do like to get the right pronunciation for a name, because your name says a lot about you. It speaks to whatever your name means. And so when I did look up the pronunciation of Mr. Otieno's name, even though it's spelled Irvo, it's pronounced Evo. Evo. I'm sorry, that's wrong. Woo, 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 woo. It's pronounced Ivo. Ivo, like the R is silent. So it's pronounced Ivo. So I just added his name to the chat and definitely looked him up. Because I feel like we owe him the respect the respect and the honor to, just learn about him, to know about him, to, just I don't know, I shouldn't say I don't know, I do know. I feel like, let me just say, I feel like showing him the honor and the respect that he deserves as a human being, to learn about him, to know about him, just for the fact he was a human being. He was part of the human race, and I felt like they treated him like an animal. I'm gonna just say how I feel it. We're just watching the video. I felt like y'all just, if you do watch the video, just seeing him lying on that ground, like on the floor, like there's no carpet or anything, and he was naked, like his top part was naked, and his feet were naked, nothing on his feet, no shoes, no shoes, no socks, nothing. They were bare, and he was shackled. And so anyway, y'all, let me give you a little bit of information about him. Besides, he was a rapper. Now, his mom, his mom did know. I'm going to give you a little bit more information about because I did get that. But his mom did say that her son had mental illness. This is what mom said. His mother, Mrs. Let me see if I have her name. Oh, I didn't write down her. Oh, yes, it is. Mrs. Oh, I'm gonna get her name wrong. Oko Otieno. It's pronounced, it's spelled Ouko. Oko. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Mrs. Otieno. She did note that her son had mental illness, that he took medication for. She did note that. She said that there were long stretches where they didn't, recognize that anything was wrong with their son. And then there were sometimes they would find him in some kind of distress, or that he would go, not necessarily that they would find him, but that he would be in distress at some times in his life. And so he did, or let me say it right. Let me give the quote so I can say it like Mrs. Otieno said it. She noted, and I quote, "He would go into some kind of distress, and then he needs to see a doctor." That's what she said specifically. And so we don't know at this point, we don't know, or maybe the news have been updated, since we've been on the air, but we don't know what type of mental health crisis that he was having at that time. But we just know that he's now passed away. It is noted in the report that Mr. Otieno was held on the ground in handcuffs. Now they say leg irons, and it really did. Y'all know, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. When I saw Mr. Otieno's legs cuffed, it took me right back to slavery times when enslaved people were shackled. That's what the shackles looked like. It really did. They were not regular handcuffs. Of course, you you can't put handcuffs on feet, but it didn't even look like the handcuffs that you use. They were shackled. So the news is reporting them to be leg irons. So Mr. Otieno was held on the ground in handcuffs and leg irons for 12 minutes. 12 minutes, Sean. All right, y'all. So anyway, I'm gonna move away from that. Mr. Otieno, he did pass away. He passed away. There have been 10 individuals that have been charged. So y'all, let's pray for the Otieno family, that the Lord will comfort them, that they will get the. I really respect and appreciate the Henrico Police Department for releasing the tape so quickly. Now, I really do appreciate. Now, let me backtrack. I don't know who released the tape because they were actually in the state mental facility. So I don't know who released the tape. I don't know if it was the state mental health facility. I don't know if it was the sheriff's office or the law enforcement office that helps support this state facility. I don't know that part. So let me take back, retract what I said. Whoever it was that released the tape, I really appreciate them doing so quickly so that Mr. Otieno's family could see what happened to their son, to their brother, to their, to their loved one, and so that the community could see what happened. And I pray that justice is served in this particular case. Yeah. Yep. So let's pray for his family. So I wanted to share, because you all know last Thursday I did report that the legislators were working on Medicaid expansion in my state of North Carolina. So it did pass. It passed the Senate already. It passed the Senate in February, I believe. It passed the House just today. So Medicaid expansion has been passed in the state of North Carolina. Woohoo! And so the bill is going to Governor Cooper's desk, which I feel confident that he will sign it. I do want to remind us, as I reported last week, that even though the bill has been passed and Governor Cooper will probably sign it, it will not go into effect until the budget is finalized, and that's not going to happen until the summer. All right, so that June, it should be around June, but sometime in the summer. So I'll keep you posted. And if I don't keep you posted, because I forgot, then you can look it up for yourself. But just know, all North Carolinian, Medicaid expansion has passed. So now we have 11 states in the United States that have not expanded Medicaid. I'm glad that North Carolina is no longer on that list. All right. So you all, I'm going to do this really quickly because it's already 7:24. I'm going to take a sip. You all, I told you all that I was going to look up Florida's House Bill 999. And y'all, it's a lot. It's a lot. I did read this 24-page bill front and back. And it does have a lot. It has some, not a lot, but some things in here that really concerns me as it relates to institutes of higher education. And I understand that this is in the state of Florida, and every state governing body for their universities and colleges, they have their own governing body. But y'all know how it happens. Sometimes what happens in one state can infiltrate to other states. So there is definitely some, if you read House Bill 999, the Florida House of Representatives, there are some things in there that could be, that could potentially affect sororities and traditionally sororities and fraternities. The Divine Nine is what they're called, in case you didn't know. There is some language in here, of course, about critical race theory. Y'all, I know I said I was going to go over it, but it's a lot. I did highlight a few things that I might just go over quickly. I'll just read one portion of it. Y'all can go and read it for yourself. I wanted to report so y'all wouldn't have to read it. But I do want to read just a few things, and I'll be quick about it. Try to have us done by 8 o'clock. I do have a couple of other news, but there's one I got to tell y'all about because it's so it's so good. It's a good story about a little boy, called a little preacher. So I want to read this part to you of House Bill 999 on page 3 and 4. It's a lot, y'all, but I'm gonna read the whole. I'm not gonna read the whole. It's a lot, but I'm gonna read a couple of lines so that you can understand. So this is in section 1. C. The board, meaning the governing board for the the state governing board for universities and colleges. The board shall periodically review the mission of each constituent university and provide updates or revisions to such mission as appropriate upon completion of such review. I got my glasses on and still struggling. I'm gonna start that again to make sure we get it. The board shall periodically review the mission of each constituent university and provide updates or revisions to such mission as appropriate upon the completion of such review. Take out the, because the is not in there, I added that myself. Upon completion of such review. Examine, let me get my second page. Wait, that was page 3. Okay, so I'm on page 4. Examine existing academic programs at each constituent university. Well, I don't know why I want to say university for alignment with the university's mission. So anyway, all of this needs to align with the university's mission, okay? And provide direction to each constituent university to remove from its program any major or minor that is based on or otherwise utilizes pedagogical methodology associated with critical theory, including but not limited to critical race theory, critical race studies, critical ethnic studies, radical feminist theory, radical feminist theory, radical gender theory, queer theory, critical social justice, or intersectionality as defined in Board of Governors regulation, or any major or minor that includes a curriculum that promotes the concepts listed in S 1000.054A. I did look up S 1000.054A, and let me see where I wrote it down. It really talks about let me see where I wrote it down. It talks about hold on, y'all. It talks about discrimination type. It has discrimination type language. Oh, y'all, I'm so sorry that I did write it down. I just don't know where I put it. Okay, so it talks about creed, race, religion. It does talk about that. It was a whole long page. Yes, I did write it down. Did I forget that part? Hold on, y'all, let me see. I thought I had written it down, but I may have forgotten to print that particular one off. Let me see if I can look it up really quickly, or at least if I don't look it up, I'll put the link in so you all can see it. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. I really thought I had written it down, but I guess I forgot to do so. So anyway, so what this is saying, from what I'm understanding it, is that Florida universities are unable to provide majors and minors that highlight or deal with anything related to critical theory, what they consider critical theory. I think this is interesting. I'm sorry, that the mission will provide direction to each constituent to remove from its program any major or minor that is based on or otherwise utilizes pedagogical methodology associated with critical theory. You know, pedagogy is just how we teach, like the practice of teaching, the theory of teaching is just how we teach. And pedagogy is just a fancy name for that. And so the 1005, so yeah, y'all, which is interesting because if I wanted a degree, or if I wanted to major in Black studies or African American studies, or wanted to minor in that, according to how I'm understanding this House bill to be written, that would no longer be possible. If I wanted to get a major or a minor in Asian American studies, or the history of the Asian culture or countries, you know, I wouldn't be able to do that. So I think this is horrible. This is, if I'm understanding this correctly, this is horrible. That you cannot major or minor in anything as it relates to what they consider critical theory or critical race theory. I'm trying not to judge because the Bible say judge not that I be not judged. I'm trying not to judge. Okay, so I wanted to read that to y'all can judge for yourself. Y'all can judge or discern or decide or get your opinions on your own. Okay, I just wanted y'all to have that, and I'm gonna also read you this. I'm gonna go through all my little pages. I wanted to read this to you. This is part of section 5, and this is C. And this relates to non-degree credentials. It reads, general education courses, this is for your non-degree credentials. The general education core courses may not distort significant historical events with misleading or incorrect presentations of fact and must not include curriculum that is based on or otherwise utilizes pedagogical methodology associated with critical theory, same thing, including but not limited to critical race theory, critical race studies, critical ethnic studies, and the exact same thing. So your degree courses or your non-degree courses cannot have anything to do with what they consider critical theory. So what they consider the history of critical race theory has nothing to do with the history of Black people. It is a law term, which I can't remember the full thing of it because I don't commit it to memory, but it is a class that's taken by law students, and I'm gonna leave it there because I can't give you the full history on it. But it is a class that law students take so that they can understand how discriminatory practices can play out in the courtroom. Okay, that's the gist of it. But look up critical race theory. I did a show about it a little bit ago where I had the facts right in front of me. But yeah, so that's what it is. So critical race theory is nowhere close to being taught in at least any public schools that I'm aware of. But in college, you have adults that can think, discern, understand, decipher things for themselves, but they're limiting this type, what they consider critical theory in the university realm, which is interesting that you would want to limit education in any way, or that you would want to limit history in any way. But that's what this House Bill 99 is about. I'm going to bypass all these other pages because it's a lot, but I did want to highlight just one more piece of information. It does talk about their hiring practices, y'all. The language, y'all read it for yourself. It's only 24 pages. It's a lot, but it's not. It's doable. It's doable reading. But it does talk about their hiring practices, and y'all, the language. Let me see if I highlighted some of the language. So on page 1 of the bill, I did highlight this. It talks about, of course, post-secondary educational institutes, providing requirements for hiring state university faculty, providing requirements for the employment, promotion, and evaluation processes for certain state university employees. And that's the language in the bill, certain state university employees, authorizing state university boards of trustees to review the tenure status of faculty members, requiring such boards to confirm the selection and reappointment of specific personnel. That's all it says. Providing requirements for, it continues to say, providing requirements for certain employment contracts and responsibilities, requiring state university presidents to annually present specified information to such boards, so like the hiring process and the rubric that they use to do the hiring, all of that. But the certain and the specific language is very interesting because I'm just let y'all decide for yourself. I'm just reporting. Y'all can decide for yourself. I'm gonna read this last little bit, then I'm gonna be done with this. Uh-oh. Hold on, I got my pages mixed up. I should have stapled it, but I really didn't want to. So let me get to page, I actually skipped the page where it might relate to sororities and fraternities, y'all. I should have stapled this because I'm getting my pages mixed up a little bit. So this is page 5. Let me put that down. This is page 19. So let me flip over, get to page 7. Yep, there's page 7. Here's page 8, page 9. So let me see if I can get to the one that it is possible that there could be some equity issues as it relates to this particular bill. So this is section 3. I got that wrong. This is actually section 4. And on the back side is section 4, number 2. It says a Florida college system, institution, state university, Florida college system, institution, direct support organization, or state university direct support organization may not extend, yes, all of this is in this bill, all that I just read, may not extend any state or federal funds to promote, support, or maintain any programs or campus activities that promote the concepts listed in S1000.054A. Goes back to that. That's where I wrote it, y'all. That's where I wrote it. Okay, I knew I wrote it down somewhere. So S1000.054A is their Florida Educational Equity Act. So that's what that is the Equity Act. And I did read over, and of course it outlines, no discrimination against certain groups like race, color, creed, all of that, religion, and certain things like that. So that's what 1000.054A is. You can look that up for yourself. It also, so activities that promote the concepts listed in the Florida Educational Equity Act, advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion, promote or engage in political or social activism, or include or espouse as government speech or expressive activity of the Florida College System Institute, and it lists all the little Florida university systems. So I can see where this could be a problem for Black sororities and fraternities, because this goes on to say that student fees to support student-led organizations are permitted with notwithstanding any speech or expressive activity by such organizations that would otherwise violate this subsection, provided that the public funds must be allocated to student-led organizations pursuant to written policies or regulations of each Florida college system, institution, or state university as applicable. As applicable, excuse me for that. So I can understand why Black sororities and fraternities would be alarmed. I can understand why political and social groups on campus would be alarmed, because, part of learning, when I went to college, it was a wonderful experience, you all. That's where I learned about, Black fraternities and sororities. I did not pledge. I wanted to pledge, but I ended up not pledging. There was a lot of activism happening on the HBCU that I originally attended. There were political groups happening, social activism happening, like Black Power going on. It was a place to explore. It was a place to learn. It was a place to grow. It was a place to get involved. There was the NCAA, NAACP was active on campus. And so it was a place where you can learn what you're pretty much, not necessarily learn, for some individuals learn, but for those of us who knew what our values and our values and our, I don't want to say goals, but what's the other word for values? I'll just stick with values, what our values were, what our life principles would be, what kind of character we wanted to continue to develop. Like, it really not groomed us, but it really nurtured us and matured us into who we were. And it helped us to see who we really wanted to be in life, or what we wanted to do. What causes did we want to take on? Do we want to save the planet? Do we want to have environmental causes? Do we want to work with causes that support children in low economic areas, or children who are limited with their literacy skills? I remember my freshman year in college, there was an elementary school right by the college that I went to, and we actually, as part of one of our classes, we went over to this elementary school and we tutored children. Now, we went there. The bus took us. Oh, did we carpool? I can't remember if they got a bus for us because it was about 4 or 5 of us, somewhere maybe 5 to 7 of us that went. I can't remember if they bused us over or if we carpooled, but we went over there. It was one particular class. We tutored the kids. The teacher had already assigned our books and different things we need to do. We just pulled that child to the side of that small group. We read with them, and so college helped us to decide. Do you want to help with children? Do you want to help with the environment? Do you want to be a political person, like a legislator, senator, a governor, a U.S. representative, state representative? Like, how do you want to serve your community? On campus, on a college campus, it will help you learn how do you want to serve your community. There were different organizations that had tables set up on the yard, where you can go get information, get your pamphlets, learn about different things. It just really helped enhance who you were. If you were rooted and grounded in values and morals, that's what I want to say. Thank you, Lord. Values and morals, it really enhanced that. And so college is a place where you explore, your political affiliations, your social activities. And for Florida to want to limit that, for Florida to want to limit young people, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 young people from having those college experiences, like, that's disturbing to me. Being a college graduate and being a person who lived on campus those first few years, I learned a lot. I met a lot of interesting people, had a lot of interesting conversations. Sometimes we had to just agree to disagree and kept it moving. But I would not change my college experience on the HBCU campus for nothing in the world. And so it's disheartening to me that Florida wants to limit these activities. Because you don't go to college just to get an education. You go to learn, you go to grow, you go to expand, you go to make, friendships, relationships, build community for yourself. All of that, for all of those areas are aspects of going to college. And so anyway, it saddens me, and it's really disturbing that they want to limit that college experience to what they want it to be. I promise it's the last thing. I know I kind of went all over the place with this bill, but it's a lot. It's a lot in this bill. Y'all, House Bill 999, if you can read it for yourself. There was one last thing that I'm not going to read this because it already talks about the what they consider critical theory. So I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, y'all, yeah. And so again, if this bill passes, that it is very possible that other states will try to adopt a bill that looks similar to this. And again, I don't have kids, but I have nieces and nephews. I have little cousins, and I want them to have a full college experience. I want them to get their education, go hit the books, do your assignments, get your projects in, write your papers, whatever assignments your professors give you, keep up with your assignments. But I still want them to have some fun on campus, get to know some people, learn some things other than academics. Again, learn about politics, about social activities that you can engage yourself in, community, activities or community causes, nonprofit organizations. I want them to have the whole experience of college life as it relates to them learning and growing and developing holistically, not just in their mind, but in their emotional capacity, their mental capacity, physically, socially, just holistic development. And so I'm done with that. What y'all think? Do you think that state boards, state educational boards, what was this? State university systems, do you think they have a right to dictate every aspect of college life? Because, public universities and colleges, they are funded by the state, and I'm pretty sure some of them are they are funded Pell Grant, federal dollars as well. How far is too far? So y'all tell me what you think in the live chat and in the comment section. Y'all, I want to tell you about this little preacher. Y'all got to see the video. Y'all, look, if y'all haven't seen the video, it's been, I watched the video on Instagram some time ago. I know I just asked y'all a question about the House Bill 99, and I didn't give y'all time to answer, but y'all can answer it in the comment section or the live chat, because I'm curious to know what y'all think about it. I'm done with that. Don't bring that to North Carolina. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't bring it to North Carolina. The Florida in this North Carolina in the South, we listen to folks, don't bring that to North Carolina. But I don't know, Florida, I don't know how many HB. I know North Carolina has, if I think our state has the most, well, if we don't have the most HBCUs, we are one of the states that has the most HBCUs in the United States of America. Ask me to name them all, I can't. I can name some of them, like, of course, A&T. Why I say A&T first over Central, I don't know. But we got North Carolina Agricultural and Technical University. We have North Carolina Central State University. Um, we're not a state university. North Carolina Central University. I'm sorry, NCU, my Eagles. Aggies for A&T. We got Winston-Salem State. Those are the Rams. We have Elizabeth City. I don't know what their state is, their mascot is. We've got Bennett College. We've got Livingstone. I don't know if Livingstone is still in operation, but Livingstone. We have not Florida, Fayetteville State University. Sorry about that, Fayetteville State. I can't get enough. Florida State, Fayetteville State University. Give y'all a little song since I butchered y'all name. How many was that? What else we got? I can't. Do y'all know the rest of them in North Carolina? So this is what it says. Florida has 4 historically Black universities and colleges. Let me see if I know if they name them. So they have 4 in Florida. It doesn't say what they are, and honestly, I really don't care at this moment. I shouldn't say that. Y'all forgive me for saying I don't care, but I'm just trying to move on. But let me see. Since I say I don't care, now I'm gonna look it up. The names of the Florida, the HBCUs in Florida. I'm about to look it up. Since I said I don't care, I do care. I do care. The one I should have known right off because of Mary McLeod Bethune. I should have known this one straight up. So sorry about that. Bethune-Cookman College. Started by Mary McLeod Bethune. And let's see, look, I got my notes right here. I reported on her last Thursday. She was one of the women that I honored. Anyway, y'all can look it up for yourself. I don't remember. My time is going short. So we got Bethune-Cookman College. We have Edward Walters University. We have Florida A&M, the Gators. Sorry about that, A&M, but we got the Gators. And then we have Florida Memorial University. Okay, so those are the 4 HBCUs that are currently in Florida. But you got me wanting to know about North Carolina HBCUs since I couldn't name them all. I hope the HBCU alumni don't, beat me down. Too bad. So let me see. Oh, how do I forget about Shaw? I think Shaw is the oldest HBCU in North. Shaw is the oldest HBCU in North Carolina. Actually, it was started in the 1800s. 1865. Yeah, it was started in 1865. So it's the oldest. Johnson C. Smith. I forgot about Johnson C. Smith. I said Bennett, St. Augustine. Forgot about St. Aug. I said Fayetteville State. I got Shaw, Johnson C. Smith, St. Aug, Bennett College in Raleigh, Livingstone. So it sounds very little like they still going. So sorry about that, Livingstone. Got Elizabeth City, got A&T, got Winston-Salem, yep. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I didn't count them right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10 HBCUs in the state of North Carolina. We are rich in HBCUs. Y'all want to come, check it out and see which one y'all want to come to. But yeah, Shaw is the oldest, 1865. And actually, all of the college HBCUs in North Carolina were started in the 1800s, except for Central. We 1910. I remember my NCCU history. Dr. James E. Shepherd, 1910 is when he established North Carolina Central University. We are the newest of the HBCUs in North Carolina. Okay, y'all, I had not planned to share all of that, but I love my HBCU. All right, I'm done with that. So Kid Preacher, let me give y'all a short synopsis of Kid Preacher, and I'm gonna be done. I promise I'm gonna be done after this. I'll see, I wrote his name down. I typed his name in because I didn't get a chance to print this off. If y'all haven't seen this video, y'all, please, I saw it on Instagram. And y'all, it is the cutest and the funniest video. I'm gonna tell y'all. Let me find a Kid Preacher's name. Let's see where I put it. I wonder, did I even type it? Did I even write it down? But anyway, while I'm looking for it, I'm gonna tell you. So I'm watching this video on Instagram, which I do often watch videos on Instagram. But I didn't. I thought I had put it up here. Maybe I didn't. Oh, sorry, y'all. I'm gonna have to look it up. So I'm watching this video on Instagram. It's this little boy. He looks like he's about four or five, but he has a robe on, like a bath, kind of like a bath. It's not a bathrobe. It's a over the head bathrobe is what it looks like. He's in the bathroom. He has his Chase dog from Paw Patrol, his Chase stuffed animal from Paw Patrol. And he starts singing, "Take me to the water. Take me to the water." Y'all, he's singing "Take Me to the Water" while he proceeds to step into his bathtub filled with water. He takes Chase and he baptizes his Chase stuffed animal. Y'all, it is the cutest and the funniest thing. So I'm looking for his name. I thought I had put it down, but I did not save it. Let me just scroll through everything just one more time. And if I don't have his name, I'm gonna look at his name because I want you all to see him. And I don't have his name, so I'm about to look it up so that I can type in the chat. So he baptizes his Chase stuffed animal. And so Jennifer Hudson, on the Jennifer Hudson show, she actually interviews him. I ran across this, I wasn't looking for it. But I ran across this where she interviews him, and of course his parents are in with him on the Jennifer Hudson show. And so I found out his dad is a preacher. He's been preaching, I think he said it's 20 plus years that he's been preaching. And so his son, his little son, what's his name? Oh, it doesn't have his name right here. But I'm gonna look it up. But he tells her that he wants to be a preacher. He's 5. So he may have been 5 in the video, but he's 5 and he does want to be a preacher. Y'all, he sounds like a preacher. And if you see the clip on Jennifer Hudson, he actually brings a word. His little 5-year-old self bring a word right there on the Jennifer Hudson show. And then he starts singing, "Take Me to the Water." She asked him to sing it. So he starts to sing it, y'all, and then he tells the congregation, he like gives the congregation the next line. Y'all know how it is in the Missionary Baptist Church, you got to call and response. So he sings the first verse, and then he tells the congregation, this is the next line, and then they start singing with him, y'all. So his name is Luke Tillman. Luke Tillman. He is from Grand Blanc, Michigan, y'all. I'm gonna put the clip for the Jennifer Hudson show. I'm gonna put the clip where he is interviewing on her show. And then y'all look for the video. She plays a little bit of the video on the show or for the show, but y'all, what y'all think? Did y'all think Chase needed to be baptized? Oh my gosh. So I'll let y'all watch the video. I'm not gonna give it away. I'll let y'all watch the video. So watch y'all. And he's considered a kid preacher. Like his dad said, he has preached at his church. And I need to look for that video because I do want to hear what he has. I mean, y'all, he has a preacher voice. Like he reminds me of a Baptist preacher. Like he has the voice, he has a he has a hum. Like he got it. He does. And so y'all, so that's kid preacher. Let me type his name in so you all can look it up for yourself, because it's a joy to see. His name is Luke Tillman. It's a joy to watch his little self just being him, just being a kid, but then kind of being a grown-up kid, right? Being a grown-up kid. So yeah. So that's all I have as far as the news is concerned. I did have something else to share, you all, but I'm not going to share it because it'll take us into some more minutes and we need to kind of wrap this up. So his name is Luke Tillman. I'm gonna put it in the chat. He is a kid preacher, and I'll put the video link. Y'all, it is so good. It is so good. The interview with Jennifer Hudson is really good. And so yeah. So I'm done, you all. I'm gonna give a few announcements and then I will let us go. Let me take a sip of my water. I did tell you I was gonna do my poem, and I am gonna do it. So let me give a few announcements and I'm going to actually end with the poem. So you all know that it is Determined Publishing Company's 15th year anniversary this year. We Determined Publishing was established in 2008, so it's our 15th year. We are doing a book of the month to celebrate. So you get 40% off one single book each month for 2023. And our book for March is A New Kind of Family. It is the story of Mark and Carrie. Carrie has experienced a great life tragedy, and her niece Anna travel to New York to get some support. And in the process of their travel, they meet Mark and an adventure ensues. It is a really good read, if I do say so myself. So you can purchase that today for $6. It is a $10 book, 40% off is $6. So get it for yourself, for your family members, get it for the church ladies, get it for your male book study group. Like, it's a good read. For like a book study, a family book time, it has some good relational elements in it. It does not only highlight Mark and Carrie's getting to know each other, but it also talks about his family and some things that Mark deals with his mom. And it's really, oh man, it's really good. Like those relational, those familial relationships and romantic relationships. So he has two sisters. So the sisters, they in there too. And so it's a good read, you all. So get you a copy of A New Kind of Family for 40% off until March 31st. All right. Y'all know my latest book release, a long time coming. It is my first and only, I think, trilogy. It features book 1, A Journey of Life, book 2, A Journey of Love, and book 3, A Journey Home. It is the story of Veronica Bailey. She just graduated from early college, meaning she has her high school diploma and 2 years of college, so her associate's degree. And it takes you through her journey with her family, y'all. It's a mess. It's a mess. Also, a lot of family relationships, friendship relationships, romantic relationships. It just takes you through a whole bunch of emotional changes throughout this book, but I believe it's a really good read. And so you can get this now at determinedpublishing.com for $28. Okay. So those are my announcements. I do want to let you know that Be Free Ministries is celebrating our virtual lifestyle series. Or I shouldn't say celebrate, we're hosting a virtual lifestyle series. So on April 13th, Deaconess Tasha Owens, she's going to share with us from the topic, Money Matters, Be Smart About It. So she's going to talk about our financial health, budgeting, pay your tithes and your offerings, have a financial plan. She's going to talk about all of that with us. Okay. Also, you all, I'm doing a 7 days to Easter on April 2nd through the 8th. Okay. April 2nd through the 8th, right here on the Stephanie Humphrey channel at 7 p.m. nightly. We're going to go through the Last Supper, the prayer, the betrayal, the denial, the counsel and the trial, the crucifixion, and the resurrection. So y'all don't want to miss. I will be teaching every single night what the Lord said. I'm going to keep putting it back on the Lord and what the Lord said. 7 days to Easter. So join me that week. So there will not be Bible study that week because that Thursday we will be bringing forth the word as it relates to Resurrection Sunday. Okay. Amen, y'all. Is that all the announcements I have? Yes. If you want to know more information about Be Free Ministries, visit my website at befreeministriesnc.org. All of the information about our monthly, weekly, and the rest of the year events, you can find it right there on the 2003 tab and then the 2023 events tab. So both of those tabs have information about our events. If you want to know more if you want to purchase A New Kind of Family, or want to know more about my other books, I have 13 single books, 5 books in the 6 books. Is it 6 or 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books in the Gift of Love series. So go to determinedpublishing.com to see those 13 titles, to see the Gift of Love series, and purchase your titles today. If you are a church group or a family group or any type of group and you want to get multiple copies of one title, go ahead and put that information in the contact section of the website, and I will contact you and give you a discount of those titles, the titles that you wish to purchase. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you the poem. Oh, also, I do want to announce this, you all. You all know I have a nonprofit called Aunties Against Abuse. We exist to educate, equip, empower, and advocate for young ladies ages 5 to 18 to be whole individuals, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. That is what we focus on in our teachings. We are celebrating our second anniversary on April 15th at 9 a.m. April 15th at 9 a.m. on the Aunties Against Abuse YouTube channel. You can go to auntiesagainstabuse.org, click on the anniversary tab to get more information. We are also, you all, raising money. We have $1,000 goal that we desire to reach for our anniversary. The funds will go to support our curriculum, our educational materials, our back to school program, personal care items for the girls, and it will also help jumpstart our scholarship fund. We'll give you more information about that a little bit later, but those monies, that $1,000 will go towards all of the programming that we have for Aunties Against Abuse. So if you see on our website at auntiesagainstabuse.org that it is a worthy nonprofit for you to donate to, we would love to have your donation. And I will say thank you in advance for donating and for joining us during our celebration on April 15th at 9. Okay, all right, I promise you that's all the announcements. I'm gonna take a sip. I'm gonna share this poem with you entitled Woman. I'm actually going to go ahead and also add the my wellness newsletter, because I did add the poem in the wellness newsletter. So I will go ahead and add it to the live chat so that you all can have that. I'm not going to do it at this moment, but before we get off, I will do that. I'm just opening it up right now so I can have it ready for you. Okay, let me take a sip. See, I got and happy Women's History Month to all the beautiful women. So my cup says, you are amazing, important, special, loved, unique, kind, and precious woman. That's who you are. So let me take a sip. I'm still drinking water out of my container. I'm not sipping, I'm gulping. For those who didn't recognize, I felt like that was important for you to know. All right, so my computer about to die too, so I better make this quick. Woman by Stephanie Humphrey. I am woman, and woman is me. I can choose to be who I want to be. Flying high in the sky as an Air Force pilot, starting a business, boss lady, I've got it. Serving my constituents as a political figure, STEM and STEAM like NASA's Hidden Figures, the arts, engineering, technology, and math, all things science. Yes, I can take that path. Activist, author, nutritionist, ballet, doctor, designer, I can be what I say. Lawyer, teacher, content creator, stylist, profiler, designed by my maker. I am woman, and woman is me. I can choose to be who I want to be. I am woman, and woman is me. There is more to me than you naturally see. I am bold, I am fierce, I am full of faith. I am humble, I am soft. In every state I slay. I feel empowered, embarrassed, and sometimes weak. I get angry and feel insecure, and comfort I seek. But don't get it twisted by the many levels of me. I am still fully woman who I am created to be. I grow strong, I gain knowledge. In the valley, I become wise. And like Lady Maya Angelou, and still I rise to new heights, new territory, a new evolution, you see. Destined by design to be uniquely me. My body, my hair, I'm created just right and will defend who I am with all of my might. I am woman, and woman is me. Proud to be woman, I make no apology. Taking care of myself, leaving the toxic behind, I walk fully in my destiny. Shine, woman, shine. I am woman, and woman is me. I can choose to be who I want to be. I am woman, and woman is me, chosen and loved. I am woman, that's me. I am done. I love that poem so deeply. Like, I love it so deeply. I love it so deeply. I think I'm gonna do a short for it just to highlight the poem by itself. I think I might do it over so I can get my blunders together. But y'all, I love that poem so deeply. And I pray that you enjoyed it. I pray it ministered to you. I pray that it encouraged you and inspired you and that it built you up and just ignited something within you. I pray that you will share it with your family, with your friends, with the other ladies in your life to encourage them, to build them up, to lift them up. It is very possible that after I end this broadcast, that I'm going to go live again just to highlight the poem itself. I'll see how I'm feeling in just a minute. But yeah, woman, that's me. So I'm going to put the poem, I'm going to put the newsletter that has the poem in it. I'm going to put it in the chat in just a minute. I'm getting the link ready right now so that I can share that with you. It's actually on my blog. I'm just going to share the blog. And actually, in this particular blog, it not only highlights the poem that I just read to you, but it also highlights there are, I think, 6 or 7 women that I highlight within this edition. This is actually my Women's History Month edition. So it does highlight my poem, it does highlight women, and it does highlight 2 wellness practices that you can incorporate into your everyday life. Okay. All right, y'all. Look, y'all, I really appreciate you joining me. I pray that my aunt said that she loved it. Thank you so much, Aunt Wanda. I really appreciate you all joining me every Thursday for Sip and Say with Stephanie and for Bible study. And then when we have special live teaching sessions and services, thank you so much for joining me. Your support, your viewership, your liking each episode, you subscribing to my channel is such a blessing to me. So I want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you to my family. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the live YouTube listeners. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the podcast listeners. I really appreciate your support of my channel. Okay, y'all, I am done. Look, nah. So y'all give me a few minutes. I am gonna go live again in just a few minutes so I can have the poem by itself so that I can share it for those who maybe y'all, you don't want to listen to the whole broadcast again. So I'll do the poem by itself so that I can share that. Okay. So I can share it live. Okay. All right, y'all, be blessed and take care. Bye-bye.